Well, all I can say is, to any musician, regardless of, COVID or what it is, don't give up. Keep trying. Keep playing. Keep doing what it is that you love to do, and your artistic expression. Whether or not people like it or not, whether just enjoy it. You know, as long as you like it, that's really the main, thing, as long as you like it. And, don't ever get too down on yourself to the point of, any sort of, negative thoughts to where, you're not liking things, maybe in your current situation, because there's always light, at the end of the tunnel. Like I said, I wasn't able to play all through those years for myself because I didn't have the money and the resources to do so. But as luck would turn out, I landed a fantastic job, which allowed me to basically rebuild everything and start fresh and start doing it again. So there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and however you want to look at it. Just keep doing it. Just keep pushing. Keep practicing. Practicing is super important. That's a message for myself as well. Practice is awesome. I try to practice like 15 to an hour, every day. Just even if I can get on for a few minutes and play and just dabble around, just keep practicing, keep pushing forward, and keep it positive, man.
I had to work two jobs too, so mine is kind of in financial services, and then the other one's in the restaurant industry. So it's kind of a little bit of a. I was trying to think paradox. I didn't want to say conglomerate or something like that too, but it's two separate jobs, and one's just kind of meant to get me out of my comfort zone and go and interact with people. And there's like small restaurant per se. And we've actually brought in like a couple of musicians. There was just mainly people with like acoustic guitars, maybe a couple of bassists. I think no more than three, to be honest. But there was never a drummer too, because you can't really like fit the entire band in like this one corner of the restaurant. So
absolutely, absolutely,
they had to like do with like what you got too. So it's cool at times. Sometimes it brings in the crowd, sometimes not. I think it really depends on like when he schedules it.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably has a lot to do with it, and it's a restaurant, right? So it's not like it is a venue and people, full on know, hey, they're doing live music there. I'm sure that, I'm sure there's people that know about it, but, it's not like a huge venue to where people are like,
mosh pitting and doing all that stuff.
Exactly. So, yeah. Right.
Yeah, absolutely too. But hopefully you can get in a group at some point. I know I recently joined Band Together, so I don't know if you wanted to join this Facebook group and then like see if you could try to get your name out there to jam with people, see where it goes.
Yeah, I am part of I don't really talk about I try not to I try to keep my own thing, for my drumming and whatnot, but I am part of a few like local musician in my area type things as well, just to see what people are posting out there, and I always keep an eye out, but I am also a little timid. I underestimate myself, I think. When it comes to drumming, I feel like I'm ready for a band, but at the same time, am I ready for a band? I'm always second guessing myself in that sort of aspect.
It's not what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside that counts, that sort of thing too. So people think like, oh, this guy's a killer drummer, he's fully committed to it, that sort of thing too. So I can see what you mean. So proceed at your own pace. That's what I was saying to you.
Right.
So
absolutely.
But best of luck to you, mate. Hopefully you make it one day. So I know you talked about Cheetos a good bit too. I guess would you say they're your biggest influence? Or I guess do you have any other influences?
Influence in terms of music. I'm all over the place, and if I can play it, I'll learn it. Obviously, when I was younger, I in high school I thought the Rev, Avenged Sevenfold. I thought I was like, dang, man, that playing is crazy. Like I can't do that, and it's awesome. A lot of that stuff, especially on that first album, Sounding the Seventh Trumpet, and the Wake in the Fallen album, where those drum beats were just all over the place. I thought that was pretty cool. Obviously, Pantera, Metallica, Lars. There's definitely been a lot of influences. But now my biggest influence is really just I watch everybody and get a look at what everybody's doing, and I try to be my own influence, right? Because I can only make myself, better, and I can only motivate myself to be better, and in myself as a what would I like other people to see me as, type of thing. So how can I be the best version of me and influence in that way? So that's kind of how I look at that. Like, it's like, yeah, that drummer is amazing. The Rev's amazing. At the end of the day, well, he's gone now, unfortunately, rest in peace. But like, he's still a human being. He was still a human being. So he still had his mistakes and his flaws and all that stuff. And we're all human, right? So it's just how it works. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that.
I'd say at least we hope we're all human in some cases. I know I talk about extraterrestrial life at this point too, so I know it's like, oh god, this guy's an extraterrestrial, oh god. That's what I think too.
He's inside of a dark red, or whatever, the tall grays.
Actually, no, I was going to say like a xenomorph right there, that sort of thing too.
Yeah.
I would say they're probably good at French kissing, to be honest, too, so maybe that's where they got the idea from. So
I'll take your word for that.
Fair enough. Okay. That's fair enough. Okay, so we did breeze through some of the questions here. Yeah, here's one. What do you love most about drumming?
So obviously that's changed over the years. Obviously, when I was younger, I wanted to be famous and blah, 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 blah. But now as I've gotten older, and again, when I started playing in 2018 there, again, I developed the love for all of it, First of all, if you want to play the drums, like, hats off to you, because that's a physical act. I mean, you're using every limb to create music. Create sound. So that in itself, that's awesome. Hey, I love that. And, I love, it doesn't matter if you're good or you're bad or what it is, just have fun and play and enjoy yourself and get lost in your own world and do your own thing. Me, myself, I'm always practicing to, better myself and playing and my playing abilities. And for me, it's like, what can I do next to make it better? How can I improve this or improve that? And then I'll practice that and see what I can do with it. And again, making original music, and there's just so many fun aspects to it now. And especially since I started, YouTube, there's a whole community of people that are playing stuff. So, the whole drumming community that, we found and everything. And it's like, that's awesome. That's awesome that so many people are, playing drums and are actually taking interest in it, because the drums have always kind of, drums are cool and all, but like you said in the beginning, everybody wanted to be the guitarist and everybody wanted to be the singer, and whatnot. So the drums always kind of took a backseat in that aspect. I think a little bit with bass guitar too, but I think a lot of people might choose the bass guitar because you're still sitting up front more, but Yeah, I love that aspect of it, just all of it, just together, playing together, watching people play, watching people grow, watching people get better, watching myself get better. I go back and I watching my videos, and I'm like, okay, looking at progress, I can tell what I'm doing and stuff like that. So, yeah, and then it's also a language in its own. You don't have to speak English or whatever to be able to, like, get that voice out, if you will. So yeah, man, it's just a lot of everything with drums.
I was gonna say, when you said speak English, it was almost like speak English or die. That sort of thing from Stormtroopers of Death. That was one of their albums. So yeah.
Hey, I mean, if you don't speak English, that's fine with me. That's what we have Google Translate.
Yeah, that'd be like, okay, nice meeting you. I'm just gonna walk over here. That sort of thing too. All right, that's fair enough too. But did anybody reach out in the drum community to you, like Drums by Ash Wells, Brian Drums, or Drumman 190?
Once I started like uploading a few times, Drumman 190 left a few comments on my videos. I really didn't understand or comprehend anything at that point, in terms of like how YouTube worked, and I definitely checked out a few of his videos. Drums by Ash Wells, he eventually ended up reaching out to me as well. He did a drum radar on me at several months ago. I don't know exactly, and I'm not sitting in front of anything to give me any dates, so several months ago. Yeah, that was awesome. I was really appreciative of that. So there's been that so far. That's pretty much been about the bulk of it.
I'd say, I think it started with a couple comments from Drum Man. I don't know if he ever put me on his Drummers to Watch Facebook group or anything like that.
No.
Probably not, but actually Ash Wells was my first drum collaboration I had. I don't know, who was your first collaboration?
The only collaboration I've had so far, BMA Drums reached out to me and asked me to do a collaboration, and obviously I'm definitely down to do collaborations. So, hey, yeah, let's do it, So he's been the only one to really reach out so far. I'm sort of a quiet, shy guy. You maybe can't tell that, but yeah, I'm pretty quiet and shy, and so I'm a little timid when it comes to reaching out to people. But obviously, if you want to grow and everything, you gotta reach out to people, and I'm working on that. But I'm definitely open to doing collaborations with anybody. But yeah, the only one so far has been BMA Drums.
I do remember him. I think he was number 2 time. So I just said, like, here, can you do the editing right now? Because I did send him to say, like, here, this is what we're going to use. Can you make that work? And unfortunately, I think he was using, I want to say a remix or something. I honestly don't remember. But anyway, we got it to work out. He edited it, and it turned out pretty nice. So it was all good.
Yeah. I recorded my drum cover, and I sent it over to him for the drums only, and I let him do his thing and edit it up and posted it on the channel.
Bruno, actually, that's his name, Bruno. So,
Bruno, yep.
Bruno, we love you, but sometimes you're killing us, mate. So, all right. All right, that's all good. So, but I guess, speaking of YouTube, so when did you start? Did you do it during the height of the pandemic, or did you kind of start in around like 2018?
I think I started at around 2020. Again, I'm not sitting in front of a computer, so I can't tell you the exact date, but I think it was around 2020. It was a point where I was able, like I said, I had bought this house, that was about when I started doing it, was in 2020. I released couple clips on like my personal Instagram account, and all my family members were like, I want to see more of this, and like they've never really seen that side of me. Even in high school and stuff, like most of my family never never really knew that I played drums like that. So I wanted to, that was what it was about, was trying to, show. I just started creating because I wanted to show family and friends, like, hey, this is actually what I can do, and I do have a little bit of talent there, and check it out, like my grandmother had never seen. I'm sure she doesn't enjoy the screaming, but she'd never seen me play. Same with pretty much everybody in the family. The only people that have ever seen me play was my mom, and my dad only seen me a couple of times. And that was, that's really it. So I wanted to, cousins and aunts and uncles and grandmothers and grandfathers and all that. I wanted everyone to see this side of me a little bit. So that was really the main reason for doing this. And yeah, definitely started it in 2020, around there. It just, work went remote, because I was used to going in an office every single day. So work went remote, and I was like, all right, cool. So now I got, more time. I don't have to drive to work, et cetera, et cetera. So I got all this extra time that I can start doing something. And that's when I started practicing and playing, and had a few bump-ins with the neighbors. And then that's what prompted me to actually build this little room, because I wasn't going to initially do that. And then a few bump-ins with the neighbors and the police, and I was like, all right, I really don't care, because I'm allowed to play my drums. Legally, I'm allowed to play my drums, and I can play them up until 10:30 p.m. And it's like whatever. So if they got a problem with it, that's on them. I'm sorry, hey, but I'm allowed to do my own thing. This is the only enjoyment thing that I do, really. Like I initially started with the idea of just playing in the room itself that it was in. But then after the cops were called and stuff, I'm not going to keep dealing with this. And the houses on both sides of me are like lease houses, or rentals. So every year it's a new tenant. So am I going to have to deal with this every single year? New tenant comes in, they don't like me playing the drums, they're going to call the cops on me. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to build this drum room and, leave it at that. And yeah, but anyways.
So your first few subscribers are your closest friends and family too. So, look, I think your keyboard's about to fall off.
No.
Okay, I thought it was sliding there for a moment. I think, oh shit, it's gonna fall over. Okay.
I got all the stickies on the drums, so it'll stop eventually, right?
At least I hope so. That's good. Okay, that's good to hear. And I was trying to remember what else, because I guess, is there something you hope to achieve with your YouTube channel at some point? I know there's still a bit of a climb to when you get to like the 1,000 subscriber mark too, but I guess something you hope to achieve.
I mean, obviously, at this point, definitely the main goal is still always as it has been, which was to show friends and family what I can do. But along with that comes realizing that, hey, I can actually play a little bit. So I should probably keep doing this and probably try to grow it into something. Again, whatever that may be. There's obviously the hopes and dreams. There's always, which avenue do you want to take things down? Do you want to go with a Patreon? Do you want to have Amazon links? Do you want to make merch? Do you want to, build it further, et cetera, et cetera? And, at this point, obviously I'm a little too, I only have around 400 right now. So it's really just, hey, I'm just playing, I'm just enjoying it, having fun with it. I'd love for it to keep growing. I'd love to, keep it growing. obviously, hey, we all dream of having 1 million subscribers, whatever the case may be. But I'm fully aware that it's a slow build, and you got to reach out to people and make the effort. And with the limited time I have, I do what I can when I can. So, obviously, yeah, want to keep building it, keep it growing. But the main goal is always as it was and will be, which was to kind of just show everybody, hey, I can do this. So
sounds good. And best luck on your journey there, mate. It's a long climb, so but we know you can do too. So hopefully you don't drive too much of your family members crazy with your alternative music, that sort of thing too. So. But
well,
you always tend to hate that too when it's like, hey, it's just my musical taste. So I think eventually they'll accept it, but it's almost like it's not my cup of tea. So I guess what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, how I look at that is like, well, first of all, my dad, who's 50 something years old, his main gig was Pantera. I mean, so that's heavy stuff right there. So just like I'm accepting of, the Beach Boys and, those older songs, those may not be exactly my cup of tea, but hey, I did grow up listening to them because my parents did, those sort of, things like that. And I respect them and I look at the musical talent and for its time, that song was amazing. For this time, this song was amazing. The way these guys put this together, that was amazing. And I respect all those, sort of aspects of it. And I forgot where I was going with that.
It's like, it's okay, but it seems like music develops at some point too. 'Cause I mean,
yeah, that's where I was going with that. Yeah, exactly. And as time goes on, things got heavier. My grandfathers and stuff like that, the Beach Boys, and we thought that was hit music that their parents didn't like. And then my dad's generation was like Pantera and stuff like that. And I know full well that my grandfather didn't like that stuff. No. But you know what? At the same time, it's like, just if you may not like the screaming of it, but listen to the music. Listen to the parts that aren't screaming, if there is, those types of parts within the song. A perfect example of that is that Chioda song that I just released. It's a little bit explicit lyrics in the beginning, and it starts off screaming. But if you listen to the whole song, it takes you on a musical journey into multiple different genres of music. It goes from like pop punk to like metal breakdown at the end. And it has there's the double bass parts, and then there's like chaos in there, and it's all over the place. And he goes from screaming to singing, and the way they put that together, that's awesome. Like the way that sounds, that's cool, man. That you're blending styles and doing things that other people haven't done before, and that's where it comes in for me, is like, okay, there may be a little bit of screaming. He was expressing himself. For instance, in that song, I'm pretty sure it's about a relationship, and some, I'm guessing a female did him wrong in some sort of aspect, and, heartbroken type of situations. And he decided to express himself on that song with that, and that's awesome, because that's art, right? You're fully allowed to do that. That's cool. But I think some people like, oh, he's screaming, I can't stand that. But yeah, listen to it. Like, there's more to it than that. Those metal songs. Like when I do a metal song and it's like got double bass and stuff. Really, those are like endurance runs for me and stuff like that. I'm practicing. I gotta practice the song probably 50-60 times before I can even play it right. So I'm just sitting there practicing double bass and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just all about perspective and having an open mind.
I would say like I always done like that sort of kind of music, because like first off, it was always like pretty cool, like how like suddenly switch to like something else completely. And then the other thing I was going to say was about new metal that came out late 90s, early 2000s there. Of like Mudvayne, Korn, Slipknot in a way. There was obviously you hear like a lot of pain, maybe so in the lyrical wise too. So it's almost like meant to be like an angry sort of therapy session, we want to call it that, like just yelling at your therapist just to let all the emotion out or that sort of thing too.
Right.
So yeah, but you see my point too. You can't just judge it simply because of that too, even though a lot of the death metal I listen to, it may not be coherent per se, but sometimes it's kind of a gory story too, so maybe it's a good thing you're not knowing what they're saying, to be honest. So
I mean, it depends on the genre of metal and what you're listening to. Obviously, there's all kinds of crazy, ridiculous types of genres of metal and its many animated subgenres, if you will.
B-rated horror movie, that sort of thing. So.
Yeah, you got the horrorcore type of stuff, and there's all kinds of stuff out there. The deathcore, Cannibal Corpses. It's like, they're probably talking about something pretty
yucky. So
yeah, but it is what it is. Again, it's music, man, and just have an open mind with it and listen to it. BT Bam, definitely one of the ones I listen to. Bless the Fall does that a little bit. They also have like those parts where they'll go into something completely random and light like that as well. I definitely that's another reason why I like Rings of Saturn. I like the I don't even know what you call it on the guitar, those awesome, cool sounds that they make.
Let's just say he's pressing on the pedal, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's doing something with a pedal. Let's just say it that way. So
it does. Well, yes, but sweeps and stuff like that.
Slides, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Sweeps. I think there's slides as well. But sweeping is like sweep picking, where it's like I don't even want to embarrass myself and make little noises, but we all make noises as musicians. But like the going down the frets and it's a sweep pick. But those sound
okay,
awesome.
That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know too much about guitars. I'm not, but I do know that.
Well, I know Origin does like, I don't want to say maybe like that where it's like going up and down. It's more like maybe it starts up here, like kind of he rolls his hand down, kind of covering like all like maybe 6 strings or something like that. So it's something
that's a sweep pick, I think.
That sort of thing,
yeah.
So I'm terrible at noises too, though. So these people can make fun of us in the comments for it. So
love it.
All right. So we got just a question here about COVID, then we can get to some fun questions. Before we jump into that, I didn't ask, so which Focusrite did you use? And I guess what's your editing software that brings it all together?
Focusrite 18920.
My man. I got one too.
18920. I got 2 of them. Like I said, so that's 16 tracks. They're bridged together. That goes into FL Studio. And then for editing the videos and putting them together, I use Adobe Premiere Pro. I'm a designer, and I use the Adobe.
That's a prerequisite, yeah. So yeah.
I'm using Adobe every single day at work, so I'm pretty familiar with the Adobe interface and whatnot. So Premiere Pro.
So basically 2 birds, 1 stone in a way when you think about it.
Exactly. And it has Photoshop as well with like the creative suite, so you get all that stuff with it. So
that's pretty cool. You know what? I've always seen about Adobe Pro, but I never got into it because, first off, are you a Windows user or are you a Mac?
I build all my PCs.
Oh, you're a builder?
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I would say, my friends always try to get me into it, and it's just like the cost is another thing too, because I think I'm also trying to save up to get a house at some point too. So the cost always seems like a factor, but I think after this Christmas, because I'm thinking of getting like a hybrid drum set, to be honest. I don't know it just yet. I'm still kind of thinking about it. But I think at some point maybe be like, okay, maybe let's go ahead and build our own PC and go from there. But it's on the back burner for now, but it would be nice to get there at some point.
If you know what you're doing, I'm a big nerd when it comes to building PCs. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say I know everything, but when it comes to building a PC. I probably built over 20 of them at this point. My drum room here runs off of my Windows PC, which is sitting on the outside of the room for the fan noise and stuff when I'm recording. You don't want all that noise and heat. Just keep it outside the room. So I built that one. I have my one in my living room that I built. That's actually like the main PC, the creme de la creme, if you will. This PC, when I hit save, everything saves here, and it's all accessible right out there. It's all on the network and everything. So I just open it. Like I'll get done recording in here. I'll hit save, and then I'll go out there, open it up on FL Studio out there, which I have FL Studio in here as well. You can have them in both, and then I'll edit. Usually sit out there and edit, so I'm not sitting here on a drum throne and trying to edit a video.
Well, you could try, but it'd probably be pretty uncomfortable. So
after a while, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that's pretty cool. All right, so let's get to the serious question here, but it was kind of a little strange because when you told me you got back into drums, it was well before COVID too. So I guess, how bad did COVID impact you and your family?
Yeah, I'll be honest. As nicely as I can, it really didn't affect me. It really didn't.
Being single too, yeah.
A few of my family members did get it, but they were just fine. Afterwards. My work went remote, which pretty much was a good thing and allowed me to make this. So, as lightheartedly as I can, it really didn't affect me too much.
That's pretty good to hear. I would say, do you have any brushes with it? Did you feel like you got sick the one day?
No, I never got sick myself.
Yeah, because actually, believe it or not, and this happened last year, carrying what?
Yeah.
So unfortunately, you come back and you end up getting sick from it too. So that was actually the first time I got it. I was actually a little surprised because I already got vaccinated and everything too. So, I mean, it just happened. So it was probably a good thing to at least get it out of the way. But I tried hopping on my drums to see if I could like sweat it out per se, and I just couldn't do it. I mean, it was just that tiring. I mean, I just had to go to bed. So, funny enough, I had to wake up in the middle of the night because I had a little bit of a fever. I just threw on some sweatpants. I just got under the covers, just brought it up right to my neck right here, and just started creating friction. So, and surprisingly, it worked. So,
well, I'm glad that you got through it and everything, and that you made it and came out on the other side. Yeah, it sucks. Sorry that it sucked for you for a little bit there. But it's good to hear. Obviously you're here, so that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Same here. Yeah, good to have you along for the journey I made.
Yeah, absolutely. I heard that more. You heard a lot of things with COVID, I guess, so you don't know what's true and what isn't. I did feel like more people that got vaccinated ended up getting sick. I didn't get vaccinated either, so. I never got it. I don't know, but hey, I avoided it, and everybody that I personally knew made it through, and I definitely feel for those that had a harder time with it for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. As I said earlier, let's hope dark days are behind us now. So. Here's to a new future at some point. So
my mom messaged me yesterday, and she did say COVID is spiking again. Hey man, that's cool, but yeah, I try to just keep moving past that, and yeah.
It's like, come on, Mom. Seriously,
right?
That's all right. All right. So best luck to you, mate. So good to have you along for the journey.
Absolutely, you too. Yeah.
All right, so let's get through the fun questions right here, and then we got one more afterwards. So let's start with the fun ones right here. So I guess first off, do you drink at all?
Alcohol? No.
Yeah.
Only on the rarest of occasions. We went to New Orleans for work, like right at the beginning of summer. I would say maybe June or May or something like that. And that was my first time ever going to New Orleans, and obviously, because I was down in New Orleans, I had a couple alcoholic beverages, if you will. But since then, that was the last time I drank. I haven't drank since then. So it's not an everyday thing. It's just a rare occasion like that.
I'd say I'm kind of the same way too. I always like having some sort of camaraderie around too. So I like to say we're like partial straight edges. We haven't like given it up, or we don't drink like whatever we just want. To be honest, it's almost like we need people around us or something like that too. So like I say,
yeah, definitely with people around or something like that. That's it, when I'm being social or something like that. Yeah, that's really it. Honestly, yeah.
I would say, did you go down Bourbon Street and try the Hurricane at O'Brien's?
I tried a Hurricane. I don't know what place it was at. I took it like a champ. Drank the whole thing. But I obviously could definitely lose a few pounds myself. I'm a little bit heavier of a guy, so I was able to handle the alcohol pretty good.
I'll say I'm kind of been the same guy too. So kind of say we could try to shed it and get it's like a 6-pack going right there. That way we get more chicks. So.
I stopped drinking pop, soda, whatever you want to call it. A couple months ago, probably about 3-4 months ago. So I kind of laid off all those, and my main go-tos are just coffee, tea, and water.
Okay, so those are non-alcoholic drinks. Okay.
Yep.
Fair enough. Actually, I did notice the shirt said Zildjian. I know you had said Zildjian too. Are you endorsed by them?
I am not endorsed by them, no. I just have always been playing Zildjian.
Yep.
And I'm making drum covers, so I didn't want to, I thought it was a little weird to have the Lions hat on. It was a little weird for me to have the Lions hat on when I'm making drum covers. So first of all, there's probably a lot of people in the world that probably don't like the Lions, but at the same time, I don't really watch football that much. I'm not a big sports person. It just kind of didn't make sense. And obviously I don't have any JM hats, so here we are wearing a Zildjian hat, I guess.
I want to say it's the Hicks from Wisconsin who came down and moved into your neighborhood too, so that's probably what they are. They're Green Bay fans, so they're not too happy now. So
right, so
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, this board here is a Zildjian board. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but that's I thought it was pretty cool. I used to skateboard all the time. And now they don't make them anymore, so it's kind of a rare commodity. So,
tell them to make big money at some point too. So
yeah, same with this one here.
Unfortunately, they're both not in the camera, so that's all right.
Okay. Well, if you watch any of my videos, you've definitely recently seen them in there. But yeah, they're both a little bit more rare of skate decks, so they could potentially be worth some money at some point. Not to say I even want to sell them, because that's why I bought it, right? Because I liked it. So, same with these T-shirts. They feel good. They're pretty stretchy and they feel
soft
pretty
cotton,
good.
Which is like soft cotton, yeah.
So, I like wearing them. Normally I was wearing them in my videos for a little bit. But to your point of asking me if I'm endorsed, I felt like I'm wearing a Zildjian shirt and I'm not endorsed by them, and I'm every video that I'm making, I'm wearing a Zildjian shirt, so I should probably switch it up to like a black shirt, which is what I ended up doing now. It's usually a black shirt that I wear, but I still have 6 of these sitting around, and I have two Zildjian hats. So, it is what it is. And hey, there's, as far as I'm not sponsored by them, and I just have always played Zildjian. There's, obviously Sabian, which is actually, Sabian was made by a Zildjian. One of the Zildjian brothers, had a disagreement, and actually that's why one of them formed Zildjian or Sabian. no problem with Sabian. Pasties, however you. I'm not even going to go into the proper
Paisty,
grammar.
Maisty, or
Yeah,
whatever. So.
there's everybody says it differently. I had a whole kit of those before. I had 502s, 802s, a signature. I've went through those. Back when I was playing more heavy back in the day, Mino was sort of like I'm not even going to sit there and worry about the pronunciation, but they were sort of a newer company at the time, so I didn't really know much about them. I had a couple Wuhan Chinas. It doesn't really matter, but as far as like look goes and aesthetic, try to keep them all Zildjian now in the videos because it looks better. And I can't deny that I don't like the sound, so I love the sound of them. So hey, yeah, why not?
Whatever your preference is. I mean, that's where you gotta go. So I know what you mean. Okay. So the next two here kind of deal with drum covers. So I guess first one, which one would you consider has been your favorite so far, or at least have planned?
That's a tough question because every cover I've done so far there's been a meaning behind it. And on top of that, on top of behind them having a meaning, every one of them has gotten better and better. So it's like, well, I'm probably going to like the next one more than I liked the first one I ever did. But not to say that the first one I ever did didn't have a special spot in that sense. And even to that, like, if you're talking numbers, I guess, Metallica Lux Eterna I did, that one has like 4.6K views on it, 4 point something. And that was probably my biggest one that actually got pushed out there. I did Inner Sandman. That one got like 1.5. That was cool. That was, again, that for me, that was like that was the first song I ever learned on a drum set when I took those lessons for the first few months of playing drums. That was the first song I ever learned. So to me, that had a special spot. The Avenged Sevenfold, I wish I could play some of the other harder songs, and I probably can if I put my mind to it. It's sort of a nod off to them, hey, I like Avenged Sevenfold, and I can play this cover, so I'm going to, and that sort of thing. Pantera, I did Revolution Is My Name. I'm gonna probably do some more Pantera eventually. I asked my dad, hey, what's your favorite band and favorite song? And he was like, Pantera, Revolution Is My Name. So I was like, all right. So yeah, that was for him, basically. That's why I did that one. And all of my songs pretty much have a story behind them. AC/DC Back in Black, that was my first cover I uploaded, and that was more of like this is my first time doing this. Let me play something that's a little bit easier, that's not as hard to get through. I'm going to be on camera, and when I was young, back at TNT, I loved, AC/DC back when I was a little kid. So, why not, they all have like a little bit of something. There's a reason for it.
Well, as I went to Circle D, all the above, that's everything too. So, yeah, I gotta see why. I guess was the day to remember one was just because it just resonated core with you, kind of back to your youngin' days, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so that was one of those songs that was like, I used to listen to A Day to Remember. In fact, I used to have Josh and the drummer, I forget, oh man, I'm just not in front of a computer or anything to be looking at, and I forget. And then again, this is taking me back to the MySpace days, so it's like hard to remember everything. But but yeah, I had all of them on Instant Messenger, and I talked to them and stuff like that. So back when they weren't even signed to a label or anything. So yeah, I was definitely into them. I liked I liked again how they went from poppy punk down to into the breakdowns and stuff like that. I really like that aspect of their music and stuff like that. The Oka, LA, like all their songs that they got and their catchy tunes and everything, and then it goes into like really hard stuff. So, yeah, I've been listening to them for a long time. So, yeah, it was like I gotta get some A Day to Remember on here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it might be a little out of my wheelhouse, but maybe at some point I would like to try one because I would like to actually do the Mr. Highways Thinking About the End because there was a friend of mine because we were listening to like the Homesick album when I was working my second job because he used to work there and he was the head chef. He sometimes blasts a little bit of metal, but he also brought A Day to Remember on. We listened to Homesick the whole way through, and he really liked the one lyric in the song I just referenced. It was "Disrespect Your Surroundings." That's something like that.
Disrespect Your Surroundings, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's a great song. Like I said, I've listened to all their stuff and everything. It's if I can play it, I'll do a cover of it. That was one that I thought was achievable for me. I could play it. So I did. I just did that. I chose that song because I could play it. That's what it really comes down to at the end of the day is can I play it, and if I can play it, then I'll do it. Like I wanna do Mr. High, that song that you just mentioned, and there's a few other ones that they have obviously that I absolutely was like, man, this song is awesome, but so I'm all for it. So let me bust it out, get it done. So
absolutely. It could be a collaboration at some point.
Hey, I'm absolutely for it.
Well, I'll have to think about it too. I got my schedule all backed up at the moment. Actually got some couple collabs to get out of the way too for November. So
I do have
to be continued.
Some coming up as well. So I didn't mention them because obviously I don't want to spoil the fun. But yeah, there's a few coming up. But yeah, I'm definitely down.
Once this video airs, I'll say once this video airs too, though, you at least have everything out of the way too. So you're at least good there. So, but I guess just last two of the fun questions here. Was there ever a song that was too tough for you to play? Did you either give up or did you come back after a while to finish?
Yeah, that happens all the time. That's part of my whole "can I play it" motto, right?
Story of my life. That's what
yeah. Yeah, it's like every day I listen to killer songs, but can I play it? Probably if I took like a month and learned it, and maybe I could get up to it. But I'm trying to put out something a little bit sooner than that, so I want to make sure that there's that. I really don't want to have that whole month of gap of not uploading something, et cetera, because I usually just like learn the song, play it, record it, and then upload it, and then move on to the next song. And that's generally how I do it. And songs take like, the schedule, it could be like 3 weeks. It could be like 3 days, but it could be like 3 weeks. So I try, if it's like going to be more of an intricate song, it's going to have a lot of intricacies, then it's going to take me a lot longer to learn. So I really don't have the time for that sort of thing. But like, yeah, but it's just a little bit too fast for me. I got a couple subscriber requests right now. Dyer's Eve, Metallica.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if I can play that one just yet. Still. So.
Yeah, that would be Lars's hardest song to be honest too. So if you're gonna do it, good luck to you, mate. I know if I had it on my list, I just haven't really committed to it because I got like all these other ones feeling like, I really want to do this one right now. So I see what you mean too. So.
Yeah, I have like 5 different requests right now, 5 or 6 of them from like YouTube comments I've seen, people say. And so I got a little list going. But yeah, like Dyer's Eve, that one's, I think there was another one from Sepultura that somebody requested, where the drums are just like going crazy, and I'm like, woo! I don't know if I can play that one yet.
I'm gonna say
maybe.
Territory, or let's try to make sure I know which one. I know Massive Hypnosis was another good one, but I think it was Territory. I think most people would say Territory because the drums are pretty crazy on that one. So
Yeah, I forget what, without my notes, I don't remember exactly which one that was, but it's like I can't really play that yet, but like maybe give me like 6 months and I'll work on other songs, which will allow me to like get better and improve my speed, and then maybe I'll be able to like start attempting it, and then it's still gonna probably be like another 6 months before I actually
it's like
get
6
it right.
months to a year. And brother, you are dead. That's the thing. So, all right. But best luck to you, mate. So I'll let you decide which one you want to go with. And for the last of the fun questions, what's currently your favorite song or one you've been listening to a good bit recently?
Well, because I'm doing these drum covers, I'm listening to different stuff like every single day. But recently, I knew that I wanted to introduce Chiodos to the channel. Because I just really like how they made music. I mean, it was pretty good stuff. And not only that, but they actually are from Michigan as well. So it was like no brainer. Hey, support the home teams and the local bands and all that stuff too. So
represent your state, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that sort of thing. So obviously I went through the whole Chiodos catalog, and then also the Chariot. I don't know if you ever listened to them, but they're pretty crazy too. They're kind of like a Norma Jean. I don't know if you ever listened to Norma Jean, which is another one that I've kind of like been listening to a little bit, just trying to like see if I can play any of that stuff. I'm always just, that's what I've been doing a lot, is just going around listening to different stuff. Parkway Drive's always up there. Slaughter to Prevail's always up there. Lots of stuff. As I Lay Dying's up there. Avenged Sevenfold's up there.
When I say Slaughter to Prevail, I'm just imagining you trying to wrestle a bear after you're listening to Viking or something like that. So.
Yeah, I wish I could play that stuff, but yeah, that's the music that when you're having that rough day, that stuff really helps. Or when you're working out, or doing something around the house where you're cleaning and you're just trying to go and just so that stuff's always up there.
Absolutely.
And not only that, but again, it's the same thing. It's really creative stuff. It may be constant like growls and gutturals and stuff like that, but it sounds really cool.
Sounds badass, that sort of thing too. Gets out to our inner beast, that sort of thing too, if we want to say that. So
exactly.
All right, so that's a pretty cool list too. So it is a little bit, I want to say alternative. I know Slaughter Prevail is kind of more your metal, that sort of thing too. So be interesting to see. Keep your eyes out for whatever drum covers this guy's doing, people. So, yeah.
Never know.
I guess. So, James, we're nearing the end of my podcast right here. We've actually almost talked for 2 hours, to be honest. So,
oh wow.
I guess, did you have any questions for me or any final words you want to say before we jump into the final question?
Hey, as far as questions for you, I had a few of them that were in my notes and I forgot. I was just mainly gonna ask you about your stuff, but hey, 2 hours, I don't want to waste too much more time, so I'll just leave it at that. And I guess I'm extremely grateful for you reaching out. I do appreciate that a ton. I'm extremely happy to be a part of this. This is sort of my second collaboration. It's not really collaboration, but working with somebody else on something. So absolutely, you're an awesome guy. I've been watching all your stuff, and I like the stuff that I definitely dig your taste in music. I resonate with a lot of the stuff that you put out, I'm extremely happy to have done this with you, man.
No worries. I guess we'll have to save it for part 2 at some point, but we'll get to more details behind the scenes after the interview, so don't you worry about that. All right. But for the last question here, James, this one I always like to ask, because I like to see what people's 2 cents are about this. But given what COVID has done, what sort of message of hope could you give to musicians and people out there as we try to move forward in a post-COVID world?
All I can say is, to any musician, regardless of, COVID or what it is, don't give up. Keep trying. Keep playing. Keep doing what it is that you love to do and your artistic expression. Whether or not people like it or not, just enjoy it. As long as you like it, that's really the main, thing, as long as you like it. And, don't ever get too down on yourself to the point of, any sort of, negative thoughts to where, you're not liking things, maybe in your current situation, because there's always light, at the end of the tunnel. Like I said, I wasn't able to play all through those years for myself because I didn't have the money and the resources to do so. But as luck would turn out, I landed a fantastic job, which allowed me to basically rebuild everything and start fresh and start doing it again. So there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and however you want to look at it, just keep doing it. Just keep pushing, keep practicing. Practicing is super important. That's a message for myself as well. Practice is awesome. I try to practice like 15 to an hour, every day, just even if I can get on for a few minutes and play and just dabble around, just keep practicing, keep pushing forward, and keep it positive, man.
Spoken like a true prodigy. Yeah. As I do say, practice makes perfect. I'm sure I don't know if you played any sports in high school either, but that was what the coaches would normally always say at that point too. So, yeah.
Yep. Did play baseball when I was younger. Yep, for sure.
Fair enough. Yeah. All right. So, James, we reached the end of my podcast right here, and boy, we talked for a good bit, and this was a damn good interview. So, I guess, did you have any final words or any shout outs you want to give before we close?
Final words. Keep rocking, hit them hard. Any shout outs? Shout out to everyone that's supporting me and yeah, really. I don't want to shout anybody in particular out. I don't want to miss somebody or something like that. So just shout out to everybody that's, been supporting me and I've been supporting and stuff like that.
That's very good to hear. And I guess how can people reach you? I know I reached out to you for Instagram too, I guess. What other social media are you on?
So I'm pretty much on all social medias. I am on TikTok. I am on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I have my email and on my page on my YouTube channel. You can always reach out to my email. There's pretty much any way you want to get a hold of me, I can pretty much be gotten a hold of in some sort of fashion.
That's good to hear. All right. Everyone, I guess it was James Myers, hailing from Detroit, Michigan. Make sure you go hit him up on his channel and go subscribe. Hit him up on the socials. James, thank you again so much for coming on. Stay safe. Stay tuned, y'all.
Thank you.